Well, it looks like old Joe Biden stuck his foot in it again today. Well, not today, but the other day. He was discussing gay marriage, and it's kind of interesting. He sounds a lot like a candidate getting ready to run for office than he does the old Joe that we know. But anyway, he said it comes down to a simple proposition, and that is, who do you love? Who do you love? That's what it comes down to him for gay marriage. Now, let's think about this, Joe. Who do you love? And let's look at the arguments that the LGBT community uses and apply this fairly throughout everything. If it's who do you love, and that's your standard, Mr. Vice President, would you not be opposed to incest-type marriages? Mothers marrying their sons. Excuse me. Mothers marrying their daughters. Fathers marrying their daughters. Things like that. How about polygamy, Mr. Vice President? After all, you can't call it sick. It's who do you love? See? Who do you love? Well, it doesn't take, a very astute person to look around. Look at Jerry Springer. Look at the type of sickness that's on that show. And then apply, who do you love? Now, I've discussed this with other people. And you bring up, a father marrying his daughter. Okay? And they'll say, oh, well, there's all kinds of genetic issues and things like that. No. Marriage is about love. It's not about procreation anymore, right? I mean, because obviously two gay guys can't procreate and two lesbians can't procreate unless they do an end run around, quote, nature. But, I mean, think about that. If the homosexual community is saying they can't help who they love, so you have to accept them, and we got the vice president running around like a lunatic, saying, oh, it's who do you love? Well, if a mother wants to love her daughter, and I'll even say the daughter is of age. She is of the age of consent, which I think it's normally around 16. So according to the vice president, that's fine, because it's who do you love? It's not, why is it discrimination? Why can't society set a standard? We have standards all the time. We don't call everything else discrimination. I mean, discrimination, for movies based on age, driving, buying alcohol, buying tobacco. There's discrimination. Ladies' night. Well, isn't that discrimination? No. It's a stand. What's wrong with setting standards? But anyway, that aside, so back to the whole thing. Here's what I kind of wonder. Every argument that the gay community uses to say that they're somehow discriminated against. Well, you know what? I know some of you claim that you were born that way and it's natural to have that attraction. I happen to believe it's not. I think that you may have certain, proclivities. But here's what I mean. If I have to accept your premise that because you act this way, because you were born this way, then it's only fair and logical to apply that standard across the spectrum. Okay? For instance, let's say a man and a woman are married and they're completely in love with each other. And I'll make the man out to be the bad guy. Say the man happens to see some other women that are very, very attractive, and they are apparently attracted to him. Now, that's a natural attraction. It's natural. Okay? Well, if the man acts on a natural instinct, how can anyone hold him accountable for his actions? And vice versa, if it's the woman that is attracted to, another man, how can you hold her accountable for her actions? It's natural. No. Okay. There may be that natural uh, attraction. However, we are human beings. We're not animals. Okay? Human beings have the ability to control their actions. Most of us do. Um, they could sit here and play the game, oh, well, homosexuals in the animal community. Again, we're not animals. Hell, if they want to play the whole nature thing, lions killed the offspring of other, with females from other males in order to bring her into heat. So that's natural, but we don't tolerate that. Okay, so trying to sit here and make this out that, oh, geez, homosexuals in the animal community, it doesn't fly. It just absolutely doesn't fly. But back to the old Joe Biden thing. I'd love someone to ask Mr. Vice President, well, geez, since his standard for marriage is who do you love, where is he going to draw the line? I mean, is he now for polygamy? I mean, obviously the Democrats have been banging on Mitt Romney for his, was it, great-great-great-grandfather was a polygamist in Mexico, I believe. But if it's who do you love, Mr. Vice President, why are you and the president and your surrogates going out and attacking Mitt Romney's great-great-great-grandfather? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But, I think we need to, any situation that the gay community uses these arguments, these talking points, it can be applied to any situation. So let me ask you, people in the LGBT community, who do you want to discriminate against? I mean, because obviously if we disallow something, it's just discrimination. Why can't 15-year-olds get married? How about 14? I mean, in Kansas, the law is 16. Well, what wisdom do they suddenly gain the day they turn 16 they didn't have the night before? Now I'm not advocating for that, but I'm just saying the argument can be made. I mean, if a 15-year-old marries a 30-year-old, well, that doesn't affect my marriage or anyone else's marriage, does it? Well, that's another excuse that the homosexuals use, that, two gays getting married doesn't affect anyone else's marriage. Well, neither does a 15-year-old marrying a 30-year-old. I'll even take the absurd point. What about marrying a pet? I'll tell you what, I've seen dogs that treat people better than I've seen people treat people. And let's think about this. I mean, let me just try to make an argument out of this. Say you go to someone who has puppies. You snatch this puppy away from its mother. So you kidnap the dog. Okay? I'm just going to really take this to the extreme. You kidnap this dog. Now you tell this dog when it can eat, when it can drink. You have to let it outside. You're going to teach it tricks for your entertainment. Okay? You're going to do all these things. You just can't marry it. They have dogs that sniff drugs, dogs that are seeing eye dogs, dogs that assist people, in life, bomb sniffing. The dogs, and I'm just, picking on dogs because I happen to be a dog person here. Dogs will lay its life down for its master. And oftentimes, the entire family. They guard the house. Have you ever seen a dog just always happy when you come home? Hardly ever complains. They're just happy. They just want some water, clean water, and some food. It doesn't even have to be good food, just crunchy. So we can treat dogs like this. Dogs can lay their life down. Dogs can be labeled as police officers. They can be labeled as, a therapeutic. They can be all these things. You can leave your money when you die to a dog. You can buy health care for a dog, but you just can't marry it. It's about love. It's about companionship. And I think an argument could be made that some dogs are better companions than people. So why not? Why not make it official? Oh, the dog can't, quote, consent. Yeah? You think the dog knows the difference? Dog just loves unconditionally. I think humans could learn something from a dog. But anyway, so take Joe Biden. And I just want to beat up on him because the guy is just silly. I mean, come on, people, really, Joe Biden? But who do you love, Joe? Who do you love? So I sure hope Joe has the courage to come out and say that not only does he embrace gay marriage, he embraces polygamy. Because hey, I can make a case for polygamy. Let me do that real quick. If a guy chooses to marry 2 or 3 women or whatnot, and has kids with them all, and wants to create a stable family environment, the law says that's bad. That's bad. That's taboo. Okay. But a guy can go out and make kids with 2, 3, 4, 5 different women, don't support any of them, and that's fine with the law. Am I the only one that sees a problem with that? Really? I mean, Joe, hey, how about you speak up for the polygamists and say, hey, at least, they're trying to take care of their kids, keep them off the government welfare check, right? Eh? So anyway, again, lots of arguments to be made, but apply the same logic or illogic that the LGBT community does to any type of relationship, and it fits. Okay? And we can discuss, adults versus minors, but let's face it. What makes sex with a 15-year-old or marriage to a 15-year-old wrong? An arbitrary line drawn by lawmakers. That's it. If the government came out tomorrow and said 15's legal, nothing anybody can say about it. It'll be perfectly accepted. Let's face it. That's what it is. I think it's way too early. I personally would like to see the age of consent raised to 18 personally. And even then, a lot of people aren't ready for it then. So anyway, I just wanted to throw those things out and give y'all something to think about. This isn't about gay bashing. This is about one individual who thinks they're out, who they're out to be standards. And once you erase that line from marriages between a man and a woman, where do you redraw that line? Because if I'm discriminating against people who are not man and woman, if that's discrimination, well, if you lower the bar to be woman, man, okay, well then everything below that bar is discrimination. And the LGBTs are just as guilty as they're claiming I am. And that's a fact, and if you're intellectually honest, I'm right. Come on, challenge me on my argument. Break my argument. Tell me how I'm wrong. I'm willing to listen. I probably won't agree, but go ahead. I'd like to hear your thoughts. So anyway, that's all I got to discuss about, the boob Joe Biden, and look forward to any feedback that I may get.